Well, would you look at that? It's another video over the revisited update in Bear Alpha. Frankly, I still have plenty to say about this update, and seeing as how I haven't made a Bear video in a while, I thought I would touch up on probably the most controversial changes made to the game in all of its history. Essentially, for those who don't know, a little over 2 months ago, Bear Alpha received an update known formally as the Revisited Update, and this update overhauled some of the maps in the game. Now, the changes made to these maps were very controversial. You either hated them or loved them. However, today, instead of ranting, I've come across what I think is probably the greatest suggestion for minimizing almost all of the controversy around this update, and I think all of you viewers should hear it. Not only would implementing this suggestion allow both of those who liked the map remakes and those who didn't to essentially be at a perfect balance, but it would also require extremely minimal effort from the developers. Additionally, very little to any changes need to be made to the remade maps. So, with all of that being said, let's begin. Alrighty, so for some context, I was recently talking about the Revisited update with a few associates of mine, and one of them being Shroom, who many of you probably already know, brought up a really interesting point. In fact, this suggestion to fix the Revisited update is entirely made by them, so yeah, thank you for that. Anyways, for the longest time, people were wondering why did the Revisited update even happen? After all, almost every single map which was changed in the update was a relatively new addition to the game, so there shouldn't have been any reason to remake them so early in their life. Well, as Shroom pointed out, they could have been remade to be harder as preparation for the addition of spicy servers. You see, Bear Alpha's 5th anniversary update introduced spicy servers, which are essentially pro servers which are meant for the more skilled players in the game. Now, as you may have noticed, many of the maps which were changed in the Revisited update were made to be smaller, and this would actually be in line with how the spicy servers want to make the game harder, as smaller maps do make it more challenging for survivors to win each round. Well, it turns out Shroom was spot on with this hypothesis, and the Revisited update is in fact preparation for spicy servers. So, this brings up the holy grail of suggestions I talked about in the beginning of this video. The suggestion which would easily mend the rift between those who are in favor and those who oppose the Revisited update with little to no effort from the developers. Essentially, Shroom's suggestion, which I am showcasing in this video, is to make it so the Revisited maps exclusively appear only in spicy servers, and the alternative, more easy versions of the maps would appear in normal servers. Now, this suggestion not only fulfills the original purpose of the Revisited update, which was to make some of the maps more fit for spicy servers, but it also allows players to enjoy both versions of the maps, as they can still encounter their old variations in normal servers. Now, there are still some quirks I'd like to discuss about this suggestion, such as how I don't think all of the Revisited maps should be exclusive to spicy servers. In fact, I think it would be fine if Happy Terror, Backrooms, Alien from Neptune, and maybe Area 51 all just stayed the same, meaning that only Final Hour and Lone House would have their both old and new versions playable, which wouldn't be that hard to implement. This would actually make a lot of sense, as both maps were the most heavily impacted from the update, and they were also the ones which sparked the most controversy, especially the Final Hour remake. So having these two maps out of all of them being the ones which had both versions playable would definitely be good for satisfying both sides of whether their remakes were good or not. This would also, like I said, not be hard to implement, as after all, spicy servers already have modified map pools, so why not modify them a little more to make more of the community happy? Anyways, that was essentially everything I would like to cover in this video. To summarize, I think that both versions of Final Hour and Lone House should be playable in the game, and the map's current version should be exclusive to spicy servers, and the map's old version should be exclusive to normal servers. I would also like to add one last thing though, which is kind of unrelated, but basically I think the animated doors should be re-implemented into the Hospital Nightmare map, as they were a nice addition and I didn't really see anyone rooting for their removal. So with all of that being said, let me know what you think of this suggestion in the comments, and thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed.